I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with your feeder flash for Monday, March the 14th, brought to you in part by Joplin Regional Stockyards. Have the regular feeder cattle auction here on Monday, starting early. I wouldn't be surprised to see that market at least steady, if not a tick higher, especially on some stocker type cattle that are suitable to go out to graze. They suffered the full brunt of the market last week, which every sale barn's got it, but they got it last Monday. But going to have a special cow and bull sale coming up on April the 6th. That'll be at 4:30 in the afternoon. Now, they had a special cow and bull sale this past Wednesday, and the way-up cow market and bull market was $3 to $5 lower after having those high-dressing cows up to $1.02 the previous week, and slaughter bulls as high as $1.34. But they get a good selection of cows there every week, and they always have a good cast of packer buyers there. But on that special cow sale they had this last Wednesday, they had young bred cows bringing from $13.5 to $17.75, bred heifers from $1,300 to $1,775, and young pairs from $1,500 to $1,900 per pair. So pretty good cow market there at Joplin. But the Black Swan event turned out to be a Vulture, the latest Black Swan event, which is like the fourth one the cattle market's had in the last 2 years. But it's picked our rally pretty clean there. It's taken the rug out from under us and really took all of our momentum that we had going. But tell you what, this war on Ukraine is just it's just upset this whole world. And I know you conspiracy guys that think that that Putin's out there to save the world from biological weapons, and you maybe even got a little bone to chew on this week with some of the news that come out. But you know, he's bombing maternity wards, people, and I know you guys are in the minority that think that Putin is a good guy, but he's killing kids and running people off, destroying that beautiful country. It's really a sad situation that's going on there, and it's got to everybody upset. We haven't seen a war this close up and personal probably ever. And so with all the social media now, and you got the local people there that are taking videos, and then that gets turned over to media. But I tell you what, it's pretty shocking and it's pretty ugly. But you know, Russia and Ukraine are big producers of wheat, fertilizer, and oil, and that's why we've seen the grains go up so much. But the Ukrainian fields are not being tended to, so they're likely not going to have a wheat crop, which we've seen the wheat go up like crazy, and then it's backed off here of late. But farmers are busy pulling Russian tanks with their tractors instead of cultivators and fertilizer rigs. But you guys have seen that too. But you know, this oil deal is the main thing of it, and we knew what was going to happen whenever that war broke out. Even President Magoo knew that gas was going to go up. So I mean, that tells you how big it was. But you know, I don't know, you see them talk about it, but I'm not sure if he or his vice president or even his spokeswoman Peppermint Patty has ever filled up a car with gas before. Now, he was a big train rider before, never drove much. I don't know, I can't see any of them filling up with gas, and they sure don't understand it the way you and I do. But tell you what, we're in tough times. But I got some news from the U.S. Cattlemen's Association. The $1.2 trillion spending bill that just got pushed through, it includes $1 million, which is way too much, for a cattle contracts library pocket program that's similar to the swine contracts report that we have out now, but there's no independent swine feeders anymore, so it doesn't help anybody. Everybody that's in the hog business is a big corporate. But the Ag Marketing Service, is responsible for putting that together. Having worked for the Ag Marketing Service for almost 20 years, they will take the bulk of that money and do something else with it, because it doesn't take $1 million to put together a cattle contracts library pilot program. and those government agencies don't have savings accounts, so they will take that money and they will absolutely piss it away, doing all kinds of different things. But what else was in that bill? It included an extension of the exemption for bull haulers to operate without an ELD, or electronic logging device. So that's something the U.S. Cattlemen's Association pushed for big time before we got the first exemption. But that's good news to keep that at bay for a little bit longer. It also included an extension of mandatory price reporting, but only through September. And why is it only through September? Because we've got these other bills that have to do with minimum negotiated trade that we're going to try to push through between now and then. So that's why it only got pushed through just for the first 6 months or so. And it also included, which is good, a ban on using any of the funds to require livestock producers to report their methane emissions with all these green deals coming up. So that's all pretty good stuff there that was included in that $1.2 trillion spending bill. But let's talk about your board for last week. April live cattle futures. Monday was up $2.12. Tuesday up $1.15. Wednesday was down $1.47. Thursday down $1.67. Friday up $1.40, which I kind of projected that Friday profit taking there. But actually your board live cattle futures for April was up $1.53 for the week at 137.30. Now your cash fat cattle trade lost $3 to $4, but your board was up $1.50. So you guys figure that one out. June live cattle ended the week at 132.95, up just 43 cents, excuse me. How about March feeder cattle contracts? Monday was up $1.47, Tuesday down 57, Wednesday up just 2 cents, Thursday down 2.40, but Friday back up $1.62, and March feeder cattle ended the week at 153.27, actually 15 cents higher. April was up 72 cents at 157.97. Your grains, corn ended the week at 764.5, which sounds pretty scary. Beans ended at 16.90 3/4. All of these were much higher earlier in the week and then fell back. Kansas City hard red winter wheat was well over $12 a bushel, but ended the week at 10.75 3/4. How about your fat cattle trade? Up through Thursday, we had traded 70,000 negotiated sales in your 5-area feeding region, and that doesn't sound too bad. Well, you had some volume because you had fear. And you know, these guys that are selling fat cattle right now, they know there's a lot of market-ready fat cattle coming down the pike. They want to keep things as current as they can, as long as they can. And with the market falling like a rock and all this uncertainty brewing, it coaxed them to sell, and they sold cheaper. $3 to $4 lower on a live basis, 137 to 140 in your 5-area feeding region. Your weighted average on live steers was 138.28. That was about $2.50 lower just up through Thursday than last week. $4 to $7 lower on your dress prices, 218 to 222. Dress steers averaged 220.10. And your dress trade was lighter because they took such a hunk off of it. Most everybody wanted to sell live, but that dressed weighted average on steers was $4.50 lower about than the previous week. It was also tough in the auctions. They really took a bite into the auctions too, and so it was tough all over. But I will say that there was more of that 140 late in the week than there was earlier in the week. So, and some of your packers tipped their hand a little bit that they needed some cattle and come out and paid that 140, which was likely all you could have got the end of the previous week. But virtually no trade on Friday because of that. Because once they started showing that they'd give 140 for some cattle there on Thursday, then everybody wanted 140 on Friday, and then so of course there was no trade. So that we won't see much more than that for the week after we round up Friday's sales, which amounted to virtually nothing. Box beef cutout values showed signs of finding some bottom side support finally. It's seasonally time for them to start getting support. Of course, we got this war going on, and fuel prices going up like crazy. But your weighted average on last week's sales, choice cuts 253.70. That was down $2.02 from the previous week's weighted average. Dressed weighted average for all of last week's sales, 247.29, which was down $3.21. $6.41 choice select spread there on the weighted average. Pretty good movement of 668 loads. So I would expect to get some more support there next week as we move forward, as your retailers and your wholesalers are buying more product, getting ready for grilling season, and looks like it could be a fairly early spring as we're starting to see some pretty mild temperatures around just amid the little winter storms there. But your end of the week, Friday afternoon, sales on choice cuts were a little bit higher than your weighted average, and your selects were quite a bit higher, about $2 higher than your weighted average for last week. But your slaughter turned out to be very disappointing. After slaughtering 125,000 every day up and through Thursday, on Friday we had a disappointing 111,000 harvest. So and then with the disappointing Saturday, tell you what, these latest contracts that they've done with these unions has given a lot of those workers Saturday off. And so it's hard to step things up. Only 34,000 on Friday compared to 52,000 a year ago. But your slaughter for the week totaled 644,000. That was 10,000 less than the previous week, 5,000 less than the same week a year ago. Talk about what else is going on. Falling Timber Farm, the Ritter family is having their 13th annual bull and female sale. It's going to be next Saturday, or this coming Saturday actually. This coming Saturday, March 19th at 5:30 in the afternoon. Now that's kind of an unorthodox time, but it might be a pretty good idea. 5:30 in the afternoon this coming Saturday out of Marthasville, Missouri, or more importantly on dvauction.com. You can view and bid that sale right there. Just relax there in the late afternoon, early evening, and sit down in there and get you some of the best Hereford seed stock. They've been supplying them for over 45 years, guys. But Falling Timber Farm genetics have been used all over the world with some of the top Hereford cattle that's been bred anywhere. And year after year, that Falling Timber Farms just keeps coming up as some of the best Hereford genetics that there is. Buy a Baldy maker. Go on to fallingtimberfarm.com and look at those videos and more information. And also go on to dvauction.com. View that catalog, view those videos, and get ready for the auction on Saturday at 5:30 in the afternoon. Let's talk about your feeder cattle market. Real-time index brought to you by Margin Tracks by Midcon. Real-time index based on an 800-pound steer. Cash prices in your auctions up through the middle 12 states there ended at 151.86. Actually had a little bit of support there late in the week, guys, and we did see your buyers come back to the market on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday with pretty good demand, especially on those reputation strains of cattle. And again on the stockers, as guys are still putting some of their grass cattle together that they'll be turning out here in about a month or so. But don't forget, on Monday here, they got a big sale in Russell, Iowa. And I mean some of the best consignments that they have all year long in Russell, Iowa. You can view and bid that sale on dvauction.com. They're going to have a lot of replacement quality females in the mix. They've got one in that's registered. So you want to get on there and watch that sale at Russell, Iowa. Your cash feeder trends in your sale barns for last week were $3 to $6 lower on all classes, with spots as much as $10 lower on big fleshy calves and even your lightweight calves, which usually don't suffer losses this time of year because not near enough people fall calf. But it's just all this unrest all over the country. Our gas prices are so damn high already. and our inputs just keep getting higher and higher, and it's just taking a toll on everything. But like I said, there was some support late in the week, and I expect a pretty good showing on these Monday sales, these high volume Monday sales, including Oklahoma City, Joplin, and like I mentioned, Russell, Iowa there. But look at some of your best sales late last week. How about winter livestock auction, winter South Dakota? They are the reigning market of the month. Had over 2,500 head of feeders there, and a really hot sale on Friday at winter South Dakota. Look at your automated market report there and some of your best tested weights. 306 head of your 6-weight steer calves in winter, average 649 with a weighted average price of 173.57. Over 500 head of 7-weight steer calves, average 746 with a weighted average price on all of them of 170.48. And then drop down to your 9-weights, 437 head of 9-weight feeding steers in winter South Dakota, average 908, so just a tick over that. But look at this price, 147.01 on all your 9-weight steers for the weighted average price. How about a couple heifer weight groups, 439 head of your 6-weight heifer calves, average 636 at 159.59, and 311 head of 7-weight heifers at winter on Friday, average 734 at 147.81 on the average price. Some individual quotes. They had a hell of a sale at Wahoo, Nebraska. I mean, a hell of a sale. And they don't get the big receipts, guys, but they've got a really good market there, and they're aggressively pursuing more cattle and better prices for their producers there. And I've seen some social media posts there. They were very excited about the kind of sale that they had. They posted some of the best prices on many weight groups that we saw all week last week. But I'm going to pick out these big feeding steers here. 51 head of them weighed 994 or 1,000 pounds at $1.40. Wahoo, Nebraska. Now somebody is putting weight on cattle in the feedlot under $1 a pound, and I'd like to know who it is, because if you look at your summer contracts of live cattle, they're ranging from 132 to 135. Now if you give $1.40 for them weighing 1,000, you got to be finding some cheap gain somewhere, guys. How about St. Onge Livestock, St. Onge, South Dakota? My buddy Justin Tupper there's got a hot sale. 72 head, 569 pound steers bring $213.50. But the best quote that I saw anywhere late last week, indeed come out of winter livestock auction, winter South Dakota. It's your Row Grow top quote for the day. 91 head, 719 pound steers bring $184. That's your feeder flash for Monday, Friday.